Yeah, that ain't saying a lot. That's a low bar right there, let me tell you. What done this, I remember? She's not, she's got all the
Yeah, I got tore up there.
I don't know if everybody's got it.
The school board really made a bad
feel all better, refreshed, geared up, ready to go.
You talking to me? No.
Up there?
It's on somewhere.
Who's doing it?
There's waters and
If we ever use the old campus, we're gonna have to spend.
Tammy, you want
So it's just a wide, it's a wide
$100,000
campus.
Somebody
So it's not
gonna
moving the
Who's all the concrete foundation?
Who's got the other end of it missing on YouTube?
They had it torn down, but they didn't take it. The guy said it would have cost, which wasn't that much more. They take the concrete. Not take the concrete. I've tried to get them to turn it in.
That might be what happens to us.
That happens, I hope it happens to us, please. That would be hilarious.
Jared, she told me has 60%.
One
They
of
didn't
the
have,
where would you
they didn't have
find
any
it?
intention.
How do you
Gotta
do it?
Google.
They talked me into going.
They talked you into it?
I know I should have.
That's why when they want more money, I'm always leery of trying to give them more money. I'm wanting to trust my new regime. I'm taking their word, but I will agree, I'm with man on this, I put $42 million budget.
Oh, yeah, go there, well, I guess we, yeah, she's over here. Tina, Julia, maybe neither one of them come?
I don't wanna get in the record. That's been
Y'all
7
should
years
be
since they've
shifted on
given
one more
any increase
chair
in the
if
school
Matthew's
system in
gonna
Monroe
be
County.
They should come this
I
way.
said,
Right.
well, it's been 7 years since.
So, you know, one of those won't be.
To the education department.
Both of them
I tried to
don't
get
be
Henry to come. What's here?
I've not seen any one of them. I do not thank you so much.
Do you want to see Henry?
I know we dropped it on the backbone, Pandora, have we heard anything on the Asian carp?
I was afraid you lost your cup somewhere.
Royal.
I've learned not to bring it around.
Yeah, I want to hear this.
Opened up
Thank you.
environmental study, gonna run about $100,000. By
Right there.
January of 2021, they will be opening it for public comments on it. And then by June, their decisions will have been made as to what locks should get what barriers,
603.
what types of barriers, and then Congress has to fund it. All this is very exciting and positive, except the carp will be in Alaska by then.
I'd say, I think that they're all, you know, Baptists are notorious for having a committee everything, a committee for committee.
Did you see the article yesterday
You
about
can't do anything without a committee, can you?
What done, Satterfield? You find you somebody to fix your deck?
Huh?
Did you find somebody to fix your deck?
Had one guy come today and showed him what I wanted done, and I got another one coming Thursday. Got a
I
couple,
saw your little ad on Facebook.
I got a couple of little city boys coming Thursday.
That's your first.
I get references.
I know these.
Tell me about somebody from Loudon though.
Huh?
Big money, big money.
Who's gonna make a loud
I did.
I mean, they're
can't
bright.
remember the
These
second
are
time.
very bright, but still, that's incredible money.
Hey, man, I don't, if they charge me by square foot, I'll have to go by the line.
Yeah,
It goes
They
the
don't
whole
take any money out
length
from
of the
the
back
federal
house and around the end.
yeah.
You know that, right? Their ratepayer
And start coaching
paid
again.
bills now.
I would if the right thing come along.
I know, they
Jump on
spent
it in a minute.
$85,000 in March looking for the carp in Lake Chickamauga.
I like coaching. I miss
Yeah.
coaching.
Who was it?
All right, we'll bring this public hearing for the fiscal year 2021 budget adoption order. First on the list, Pat Hunter. How much they pay you to go first? Well, I don't know.
Pat, did you not see the notice? There's a 5-page limit on what the
It's gonna cost them. Look at all these papers I have.
We're donating our tax dollars.
Exactly.
You yield the floor to.
Right. My name is Pat Hunter, and I have many concerns about the budget. I appreciate the time that you've spent on the budget. I didn't attend the budget meetings this year, but I do know the time that goes into preparing the budget, and it is very time consuming. I have concerns because the state is telling us that they have financial problems, and I imagine we will too. We will close for 2 months, and I know that that has had an impact on the economy. State employees and teachers will not receive a pay raise from the state of Tennessee in the proposed upcoming fiscal year. The state has also placed a freeze in hiring. These are dire economic times. In my opinion, local government should consider the same. After the 2020 U.S. Census is conducted and our county exceeds the 50,000 population classification, the majority of our elected officials will receive an automatic pay hike of over $7,000 each. I'm not sure if the salaries for elected employees include a pay raise, but if they do, I respectfully request respective salaries be reduced from the proposed respective budgets. Loudon County does not have a jailhouse, and the sheriff should not be paid for a jailhouse that does not exist.
You mean workhouse, Pat?
I mean, workhouse. This pushes salaries upward of other elected officials, including the highway department and the county mayor. I think, I was looking at the current CTAS guidelines, and it looks like Loudon County exceeds those guidelines. So we are paying our officials more than those guidelines. I'm requesting a freeze in the hiring of new employees and no COLA for county and school board employees. Please do not dip into the fund balance to give pay raises. I would like to remind the Budget Committee that many, including county employees, seniors, people in the private sector, receive $1,200 stimulus money per individual and $2,400 per couple, plus additional if they have children, tax-free from the federal government. Any pay raise that the Budget Committee may recommend would be taxable money. At the same time, I am requesting special consideration for at least 2 department heads, purchasing and maintenance, to receive salary supplements because of additional duties assigned to each department head. They've been working on the jail and the old courthouse restoration. These are additional duties. I think the county should look at a fair and more equitable pay schedule for these 2 department heads, but also for others. We have electricians, HVAC people, chief deputy. I think that at some point, we're gonna have to look at equitable salaries for them. It may take a year or 2 to, get to that point, to being equitable, but right now, we are paying in this budget, salary supplements and educational incentives. So there are some employees who will receive additional pay. With regards to nonprofits, I am requesting commission consider adopting a formal nonprofits policy. How does this organization benefit Loudon County residents? We need to know if there's a direct benefit to us. Also, to rotate charities unless a vital service such as fire and rescue is performed. With regards to the hotel motel tax, most hotels and motels are located within Lenore City proper. Yet Lenore City pays a pittance, $15,000, compared to Loudon County's yearly financial contributions. Lenore City is clearly the benefactor of retail sales, restaurants, and hotel motel occupancy. So it's time for Lenore City to pay the lion's share, not the other way around. Any hard work from the Visitors Bureau benefits Lenore City, not Loudon County. Please keep the county share at $100,000. Loudon City has earmarked $20,000 for the Visitors Bureau in their proposed 2021 budget. I'm also requesting to see the marketing strategy for Loudon County and how this benefits Loudon County residents. I have a concern about $3,000 being earmarked for the Riverside Cemetery. Loudon County will be footing the entire $3,000 for the mowing of the cemetery. But I do not see a contribution from Loudon City, and the cemetery is located in Loudon City. Please cut this amount in half and request Loudon City pay the other half. Surely mowing the cemetery is just as important as mowing the city park. I'm not sure why the Budget Committee recommended Greenback Fire Department for $45,000, an increase of $10,000 over this fiscal year. But I'm requesting the amount be reduced to the current amount of $35,000. Philadelphia Fire Department is on the list of nonprofits to receive $35,000. Yet Philadelphia has not met state statute of submitting an annual financial audit to the county. According to the Tennessee Controller website, the last audit was in 2016. Please remove this charity's request for a donation until this entity catches up. Non-compliance of state law is unacceptable. I also have, and I'll give you a copy of this, is a budget of the Philadelphia budget that was recently adopted. And it shows their fund balance and their revenue, and it's more than I ever thought it would be. So I'll hand that out at the end of the meeting. I think that's basically, those are my concerns. But I think these are hard economic times, and you know, if sometime down, let's say 6 months from now, revenue materializes and we're going to have more money than we think or than we anticipate, I think that the Budget Committee can always make a budget amendment to either give pay raises to the county employees or to the school board. But I have a concern. Like I said, these are hard economic times. I went to a box store. The employees were talking about not receiving a pay raise this year. I don't know anyone that is. And I think that the taxpayers, if we, the people that pay the bills, are not going to see pay raises, I think that you should be frugal when it comes to taxpayer money and do the same with county coffers. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
Just FYI, Pat, I know you weren't able to get up to all the budget meetings, but several of the things that you mentioned tonight were discussed ad nauseum at the budget meetings and shared some of the same concerns that you brought up tonight, but like I said, cause you're usually right on top of everything, but like I said, most of those things were discussed and some same concerns that you have, so.
I know you would. Thank you.
Next up, Ashley Fletcher. Mr. Fletcher.
I'm Ashley Fletcher. I have, in fact, starting in August, I'll start my 9th year working a couple days a week at the Loudon County Visitors Bureau. And just to let you know, probably 98% of the people that come through the Visitors Bureau are here on their way to the Smokies or going down to Florida. But at least 2% are coming here to look for a place to retire. And I can claim, I think easily, responsibility for moving about 50 families into Loudon County over the years that I've been there, and that's on the increase, I would say. And I think I moved quality people. What I do when a quality person comes in, and I can size them up in about 5 minutes, I tell them the good things about Tennessee being the second wealthiest state in the United States. I think it's Nebraska that beats us every year. I tell them that we're expected to have $1.24 billion in reserve at the end of this year. I tell them that property taxes are incredibly low. The cost to register a vehicle is $29. We are the 7th fastest growing county out of 95 for good reason. I tell them about the moderate weather, the Tellico Lake, the medical systems, and the Smoky Mountains. If I get people that come in that are not what I consider to be quality people, I tell them that, you know, there's not too much to do around here. It's hot and muggy in the summertime. It gets cold as hell in the wintertime. And if you've got allergies, this isn't a good place to live. You might want to look at North Carolina. Anyway, I wasn't going to speak tonight because I felt guilty. Nobody respects the police and fire department any more than I do. And I thought, if we asked to remain funded the way we are now, then God forbid we should take a nickel away from the fire and police department. But then the more I thought that through, and if you do the math, and I see Tracy's here, I wish he wasn't because she may question me, but if I brought in 50 couples and they average $1,400 a year in property tax, which is about right, and they spend $1,000 a year at 2% Loudon tax, then I am responsible for about $120,000. Or so you take the $2,400 times the 50 couples, and that's $120,000 a year. And after 5 years, that's $600,000. And that's just my participation. It doesn't count the other 2 employees. So I think what has happened, and I understand how it can happen, I think we have almost been looked at as a revenue consumer, really, rather than a revenue creator. And I don't think it's out of the ordinary at all to think that over the years that I've been there, we probably have created well over $1 million and probably $2 million in income, and that's enhancing every year. So I would urge that you take another look at that, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Pandora, Breland.
They want to get that?
No, fell on the floor.
Well, good evening, I'm Pandora Breland, I live in Loudon County, and first of all, I want to thank you all for allowing the public to speak to the budget that you have put forward. I'd like to bring to the forefront the current economic situation, fill in a little more details. News Herald, June 3rd, 15% unemployment in our county. Well, like the Great Depression level unemployment. Hopefully that's going to get on the slide and go back downhill. Non-essential businesses forced closed for 2 months. Not even sure all of them are going to be able to recover from that successfully. no certain end date in sight for our plague, we call the coronavirus. Empty shelves in our Loudon County food banks and elsewhere. I get a lot of solicitations for donations for food and what have you, that I try and help out any way I can. Believe me, they've really ramped up. Knox County laying off employees due to serious projected revenue drops. I'm extremely curious as to how we escaped having to lay off any employees. It's kind of hard to believe we're actually immune from having had to do that. A big drop in our court revenues, a big moneymaker for us, and of course that has been shut off to a great extent. So now I'm looking at our proposed budget. So much expense it requires that we really are going to have to go into our reserves for $1.7 to $2 million. That's kind of a plundering type move. That's really not something that we should ever consider. And to know that part of that is for raises in an environment where your citizen are many unemployed, friends, neighbors, family. I have people in Tellico Village whose children are living in their basement again. We thought we got rid of them. No, they're back. So it's kind of like being in a bubble, and it's very disconcerting when I look at that, because I think, wow, everybody watches the news, everybody knows somebody who's unemployed, everybody. Yet I see a big budget that runs us into a deficit and will make us tap those reserves so hard the next time the budget committee meets next year, they're up against the wall. They're gonna have to throw a tax increase out. That's really terrible planning. That's just disrespectful planning. So I was saying this afternoon, what does that remind me of? A man coming home and saying to his wife, honey, I've been laid off. I don't know if I'm gonna have any income coming in for the next 12 months. And she jumps up and says, darling, I'm gonna spend $50,000 remodeling our kitchen, and I'm gonna do it out of our family emergency reserve fund. That's just how disjointed all of this comes off to me. And I know it is to others as well. I think we really have to consider our circumstances and get back into living within a budget we can live in without going into our reserves to do it. I know we have many county employees who deserve raises, but who are also extremely grateful that they were not furloughed like friends, like family, like neighbors. And our lucky employees were also hopefully able to get $1,200 checks each. So they're not skunked. I mean, the government kind of stepped in, and the state stepped in ways that nobody could expect. So I would say that many of them probably will tell you, I'm down on one knee thanking God I kept my job, I didn't miss a paycheck, things in my life have been stable. So to our hard-working budget committee members, I congratulate you that you're 97% finished on your budget. That 3% that you haven't finished is that 1.7 million to 2 million that you're trying to push to the next generation by getting into the reserves. Having the next budget committee and the taxpayers end up with a dirty bomb with a 12-month-long fuse on it is really not a good play. It's just not good form. I think it is going to be gnashing of teeth and a lot of extremely hard work on top of the hard work you've already done. But we have absolutely got to stay within our financial capabilities. We have to have a perspective of what is going on in the lives of the taxpayers in our county. And we have to do things like really dive into why in 2018 did we have 372 actual employees in our budget, 2018, 2019. In this budget, if I read it correctly, we're looking at 417. So there are things that when you go back into the sweatshop of working at the budget, really need to be gone into a lot deeper than maybe you were able to have the time to do. So I'm counting on you, everyone's counting on you. I know it's a big stress to to have to do this, but we really have to put our budget in perspective to our economic times. And I thank you very much for your hard work, and I appreciate you listening to my comments.
Thank you, Pandora. Now, this says Baker. Now, I don't know if somebody wrote it for you to get, or
Apparently I need to check my own driver's license, so.
Rachel, Harold.
I even put Baker on my notes, so y'all don't, please don't tell my husband. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Mayor, and Commissioners, my name is Rachel Harrell, and I'm the Director of Tourism for the Loudon County Visitors Bureau. Over the past 10 years, county collections from the hotel motel tax have increased 42%, but the currently proposed funding is less than it was in 2008. 12 of that 42% has been in the past 3 years, and due to the marketing efforts of the LCVB that were focused, strategic, and data-driven. And Pat, we would be glad to get a copy of that marketing plan to you. Driving visitation is our mission locally and on the state level, where tourism is the second largest industry after agriculture. More visitors to Loudon County equal more hotel stays, which drives dining and shopping, which drives sales tax dollars. Hotels have a vested interest in the LCVB doing well because visitors to their businesses pay the hotel motel tax. In 2019, according to the Tennessee Department of Labor, approximately 2,000 people were employed by the hospitality industry in Loudon County. This showed a 5% growth over 2018 and a 36% growth over 2008. These are some of the most important and the most vulnerable jobs as we have just seen with COVID-19. Making sure our marketing dollars are in place now is more important than ever. Please allow me to remind you that this is not a short-term need, but a long-time investment. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Rachel.
I got a question. What are hotel occupancy rates looking like last year compared to this year for March, April, and May?
They are down. They're down about 30%, which is reflecting in the collections. And it's varied from March to April, because April was the complete shutdown. But we feel like if marketing to visitors again will, certainly help to promote us to get back into the place where we need to be.
Thank you.
Sarah Lingenfelter.
Hi, my name is Sarah Lingenfelter, and I'm here representing the Loudon County Visitors Bureau as chairman. I'm also an owner at Dead Man's Farm as well as a realtor in Loudon County. I'm here tonight to ask that you reconsider reducing the funding the Visitors Bureau receives from the hotel motel tax. Because of that decrease, we had to significantly cut our marketing budget last year. Further decreasing the funding would cause marketing budget to be completely wiped out and greatly reduce the effectiveness of the Visitors Bureau. It would be a great injustice, not only to local business, but the taxpayers of Loudon County to halt our marketing efforts. The Visitors Bureau is instrumental in marketing our county to visitors in an effort to bring more sales tax dollars to offset taxes that would otherwise be paid by county residents. Tourism is a non-polluting industry that does not cost the county nor the citizens, but provides a return on investment. The Visitors Bureau is the only agency in Loudon County that promotes the county as a whole and is considered the marketing arm for each of the cities. As an attraction owner and realtor, the Visitors Bureau provides us with additional marketing for our businesses that we would not be able to afford on our own. Please consider reinstating the percentage-based funding for the Visitors Bureau. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Jeff Lingenfelter.
Hi, my name is Jeff Lingenfelter. I'm, of course, representing Dead Man's Farm. We believe in the mission of the Visitors Bureau. Dead Man's Farm is a small business. We pay property taxes, sales taxes, business taxes. We hired 93 employees last season, and we're on track to do that again this year, if things are still going well. We bring in more than 10,000, last year we brought in more than 10,000 visitors in our season. They're coming in, they're spending money at gas stations, restaurants, and hotels. We know for a fact through a survey that we did a couple years ago that we're bringing people from about 350-mile radius. We get a lot of people who really believe that people who come out to see us are locals or they're not even from Knoxville, and that's the least of where they come from. So we know they're staying at hotels because if you come in from it, you drive in from Atlanta or they drive in from Florida, Alabama, Ohio, Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina, they're coming in on the weekend, they're not driving back home that night after they leave at 11 o'clock. We love contributing to our local community, and we try to buy everything we can to support anything we can to buy local to support Loudon County. We hired off-duty officers from Loudon County Sheriff's Department for the last 11 years. We've donated money to the Loudon County Fire and Rescue Squad for the last 11 years, and we've donated proceeds from our Lights On Tour, our special event that we do. For the last 11 years, we donate to the Boys and Girls Club, Loudon County Education Foundation, and the Loudon City Dog Park. Being a small tourist attraction, we do have a small marketing budget, and the reach of the Visitors Bureau marketing plan is much greater than what we can actually do on our own. It's been a huge help for us. Along with Dead Man's Farm, we are privileged to have many great opportunities for visitors in our county, and we're thrilled for that. The money that our visitors spend while in Loudon County help us all to save on our taxes. Please consider reinstating the percentage-based funding for the Visitors Bureau. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jeff. Claire Kimmy.
I'm Claire Kinney. I'm here for the Visitors Bureau as well. I have been on the Visitors Bureau for, well, I didn't do the math, for 18 years off and on. I've been on the board. And I'm more proud of the work we do now than I've ever been before. We have ways now, since Rachel came on board, to track the work we're doing and the effect it has on the county. And I just think we're going in the right direction, and I hate to see a funding reduction stop us in our tracks. Please help us to help the county, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Claire. Michelle Lewis.
Hello, Commissioners and Mayor. I'm Michelle Lewis. I'm with the Loudon County Education Foundation, and I am here tonight representing the foundation, but I am a supporter of Visitors Bureau too, and I might have a little bit to say about that also. But tonight specifically, I was here to address a specific reduction in the budget for the Run Loco special event that we have in December. In the past, the county has contributed $2,500 to our event annually for the past 2 years. But that contribution is less of a donation and more of an offset of expense. For the first year, our expense to the Loudon County Officers for Safety and Security was $3,400. And in 2019, our expense was $2,805. So we've received $5,000 from the county, but we've paid about $6,200 back in. So I would like to request that you consider restoring that for our event this year. In order to make that event a success and to be able to donate the money to the schools that we are attempting to donate each year, we need to have the support of all other counties. And I have some information specifically about the foundation if you're interested in that, about how much we've contributed. But as of this year, we have contributed over $742,000 to education since 2012. In regards to the Visitors Bureau, the Run Loco event receives quite a bit of support from the Visitors Bureau specifically in marketing, in sponsorship, in Rachel's personal assistance. Last year she was our race director. That event has the potential to be a really signature event for Loudon County. If you look at the marathon in Knoxville, it brings 7,000 people in. Now, we aren't to that place yet, but we've only had it 2 years so far.
Last year, we had someone from Brazil who participated. We had someone from Indiana, Washington State. We had several locals. We had a lot of people from the greater Knoxville area. But as that event gets bigger and bigger, it has the potential to fill those hotels and to bring people into Loudon County to see what we have here that we can offer for vacations. People come to run, but they come back with their families. So we have to have an opportunity to make this event a successful event, and I need your support in order to do that. So please reconsider that. And lastly, I just wanted to address one thing in regards to the salary raises. I just want to mention, and I know everybody knows it, but it costs a lot more to recruit and train new employees than it does to keep the employees you have. And when we are in a situation where we have counties around us that are paying more for people who are trained by us and are excellent candidates for jobs, we are constantly seeding the counties around us for their employees and then retraining new ones for ourselves. So, thank you so much for your time. Yes?
Did the Visitors Bureau donate money to the race last year, or just
Yes,
time?
they did.
How much did they donate?
$5,000.
Thank you.
Oh,
Ms. Patel.
Hey, my name is Anita. I'm with the Lake King Inn and Suites on Highway 72. I also manage and run the Econo Lodge in Lenore City, and we also have a third hotel in this county that's in the pipeline. Hopefully, we will start soon. We're still in the planning phase with the city. So I would say me and my family are pretty well invested here in the county, and we do collect the 5% hotel motel occupancy tax. And so I'm here today to talk on behalf of hotel owners here in the county, as well as part of the Visitors Bureau, because I do serve on the board. The Visitors Bureau and the 5% occupancy tax that we collect it's a revenue generating resource for the county. So, whatever dollars the Visitors Bureau spends to recruit people to come to this county, they in turn can spend those monies in restaurants, in bake shops, in stores, grocery stores, things like that. And I'll give you an example. A few years ago, the Visitors Bureau, or I think it was Senior Softball, ISSA, had reached out to the Visitors Bureau in regards to some fields that they needed here in town. And I think they reached out to Rachel, and she had said, we have some fields in Loudon, the city of Loudon. And Rachel said, okay, we'll pay for the cost, and then you guys bring that tournament to town. Well, that tournament's been back 3 years. That tournament came here in 2018. It come back in 2019, and they were supposed to come back the second week of June, and they have postponed until the 23rd of July. So they've come back all 3 years, and I can guarantee you those people that have come to town have spent money in the grocery stores to buy food for their team, to buy ice. They've probably filled up their gas tank a few times, which is generating revenue for the county as far as tax dollars go. So it's important for you guys to understand that that is what the Visitors Bureau does. Hotels invest in the county. They're the only ones that are paying 5% tax. There's no other business in the county that's paying 5% extra tax. And so it's only fair that when that tax was created, it was created in the fact of we should use that to market the county. And so I hope that you guys can reconsider maybe putting some more money or getting rid of the cap, the cap on the Visitors Bureau and make it back to a percentage-based funding. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Rich Hanklin.
My name is Richard Hanklin. Live in Tellico Village. I have one question for you all that are talking about Visitors Bureau, chamber of commerce and whatnot. Are you aware that the village spends $500,000 a year on marketing? And are you working jointly with them?
Absolutely.
Sit on our board.
Okay, because we're bringing in 100 houses a year plus. And I've always objected to their $500,000 expense. Because it doesn't seem like it's fair to the rest of the people in the village that we get 5% increases in our assessments every year. But it does bring in 100 houses a year, $400,000 houses. I live across the lake from Wind River, of people are buying houses over there, but they're humongous houses. They seem to be putting them up faster than we are. Which brings me to what I want to talk about. Well, North City Superintendent of Schools has said there's no raise for their teachers. Loudon wants to give a 1% to their teachers to the tune of $343,000, of which 113 of that would go to Lenore City because of the way the split funding is. We want to take it out of our reserves or take it out of the $911,000 that is the COVID money that the federal government handed out. But my objection is not that they get raises, that you're taking non-recurring money to pay for recurring expenses. Spent 31 years at Ford, and that's a typical no-no. You cannot mix the two sources of funds to pay recurring expenses. One-time payments, don't get it. It's not going to be guaranteed to have that same payment next year or the year after. And if you look at what we did last year with jail, 3.6 million, add this 400,000, you're up to 4 million. And let's say that each penny was worth 200,000, which is somewhat less. That's about 20% property tax increase. Now, we haven't had one of those in 10 years. We did that for the schools. And about 4 years into that, I could manage to convince Don Miller, one of you, to give 4 of that cents back. One of the arguments when we were collecting all that money was that you end up with terrific amounts of money, $8, $10, $12 million in your building funds. You look at your budget, that fund has got about $8 million in it now. It keeps growing every year. Van wanted to build an annex, not necessarily him himself, and used retiring debt, 3 cents and 9 tenths of a cent in interest on those old debt. We have more of that debt retiring in the next 3 to 5 years. We have more houses being built here to increase our tax revenue. We're gonna go through an assessment next year. If we stayed at the same 185 and only used the growth of the new industry or residential, you might be able to cover that. I doubt it.
Actually, we're $1.80.
Thank you, Mayor. The governor isn't giving any money to the state employees, and he hasn't funneled any money back through the schools. And as other people have remarked here, the last 3 months has been kind of interesting. Those of us who are retired are somewhat immune to losing jobs. We have a steady income. But I've been in 3 different counties in the last week, looking at stores, restaurants, or just driving through. The rules are different in every county. Ours seems to be prospering better than the other 2. I'm talking about Blunt and Knox. You still can't eat inside certain restaurants over in Blunt County and or Knox County. We're fortunate that we can. If the state won't give their employees raises and they won't shovel money down to the schools, why are we taking our money out of reserves? Jeannie Barker's school system in our city has got $6.3 million in reserve. They don't think we're spending their reserve money for schools, teacher raises. And the school system shut down in the middle of March. We've lost about 1/3 of the school year. The salary, just the salaries, not including benefits, is $24 million. That was for 18 or 19, 20, excuse me, 2021 forecast. 18, 19 was 24.3. Previous year was 23.3, which translated into a 4% raise, and we didn't really give much last year. I understand that. But when your school system shut down for 3 months, to 30% of the school year, our school system did not lay off or furlough anybody. 25% of a $24 million budget is at $6 million they could have saved by shifting the burden to the unemployment system and the $600 the federal government was given. Now, I understand that's funny money. We're borrowing that money, big time. But there could have been some savings in the school budget, just like there could have been some savings in the county budget. If we pared back, like most of the small business, restaurants, and the hotels did. Hiring freezes at the state. No one-time money should ever be used for recurring expense. Now, we have a building right behind us, that courthouse. I happen to be looking at my office about the scope of work plan for that. Back last May, June, about a 3-page document. Talking about enclosing that building. That building still isn't enclosed. That roof doesn't look worth a damn. Windows aren't even boarded up. Whatever we thought we were gonna save inside that building is shot full of hell, if you ask me. We're not gonna salvage a thing out of it. I have no idea how many millions of dollars are being poured into that thing, and yet to be poured into that thing. And Mayor, forgive me, but I think we only get about 2.5 million in insurance.
No,
Unlimited?
well, that's what our cap is. Everything that was salvageable was out of the building. They got everything out of, as soon as we could get people in, and actually we went in before it was safe to get people in, we went in and salvaged.
Paneling in the courtroom?
I'm sorry,
The paneling on the walls in the courtroom?
what paneling? I mean,
It was ashes.
It was ashes.
It was totally destroyed.
and all the framing is brick. There's no framing in it but brick.
Yeah.
We got everything out that we could, that was worth saving.
My concern is I don't believe that the state's insurance is gonna give you an unlimited cap. I know that we have 28 million in the whole county, and I know that they have said that they'll cover your expenses up to a point when they finally wake up and see how much money you're spending. If they don't cover it, the county taxpayer's on the hook. Whether it's $1 million, $2 million, or $3 million. It's gonna be an expensive repair. Have nothing wrong with repairing it. I just don't know where all the funding's gonna come from. The other thing that I talked about when I was here last week, you all wanna put in an electronic voting system. Cost about $7,000, $5,000 the first year, and ongoing $3,400, and I made up this form, which has each of your names on it, and there's 4 different places to vote for things that would come up in a meeting, and there's 4 different places down here if you wanted to make any amendments. I don't see putting in an electronic system to count 10 votes and to capture 1 or 2 amendments on a computer, on an electronic system, that requires $3,400 a year licensing because of the software. If you divide that out by 12 meetings a year, you're talking $283 a meeting. This piece of paper cost me about 5 minutes to print, probably $1.98 with a pen. And it would suffice to do what you're doing. Now, it's not a lot of money, but again, it's an example of recurring expense that you don't need.
That was tabled last week.
I'm sorry?
That was taken off the table altogether last week.
Okay. I'll gladly bring you some more if you want.
I'll actually keep one, I'll have my own prepared for next Friday, and a helmet.
All right. Thank you for listening to me. I know, as previous people have said, you guys work still to build this budget. I had to do a lot of it for 30 years. And I've had a lot of criticism for the budget I tried to submit, because there's always somebody looking over your shoulder. You unfortunately got upwards of 50,000 people wanting to look over your shoulder. that's not fair. All I'm urging is take a hard look at recurring expense, recurring revenue, and you gotta make them match. If you don't have the recurring revenue to match up to the recurring expense, you gotta think really hard about doing that, because you're libeling yourself for the future. All right? Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. That's all I have listed, but I will leave the floor open if anybody else wants to, has a comment for this commission or this budget committee.
May I ask a question? The internet sellers sales tax, where is it?
Filling our pockets full right now.
We met 100% of our sales tax expectations at the end of the third quarter. Everything we've gotten since April has just been in addition to what we were expecting.
How much do we make?
We're 18% up in May
Those numbers.
over last May, so it's 140 something thousand in 1 month more than the year before during COVID. So it's,
I think
yeah.
what we're seeing is,
Some of that's
especially during the
fine.
shutdown, well, the UPS drivers, the FedEx drivers say it's worse than Christmas. So folks instead of getting out and about, I think, and I have no scientific proof, it's just logical, I think, though,
It is logical.
that they're ordering their groceries, whatever they want, they're having it delivered or whatever package instead of going to Walmart or Home Depot or wherever. And then, everything outside the city limits that comes into county.
Well,
Are you-
that hadn't closed slowed Home Depot and Walmart down.
No.
They have been full to the brim the whole time.
is that in the budget, that money?
Yes.
It is, okay.
Our expected revenue is always in, but then we'll adjust, actually, we've already adjusted the last meeting to adjust what reflect more closely what we're actually bringing in.
And
We
as
can
far as-
spend all we get, Pandora, no problem.
Oh, I know, I was just wondering, when is it gonna happen? When is it gonna happen?
And that has been really a lifesaver
Yeah.
for Loudon County during this time.
And I haven't heard contrary. Richard always brings up some good points. I don't want anybody to leave here thinking the county is on the hook or gonna be on the hook for repairing the courthouse that burnt. Our insurance company is not a state insurance company. It's one that it's that one that we
Tennessee.
pay into, yeah.
Risk management.
And, you know, unless they have said something different that I've not been aware of, they are going to pay the cost of returning the courthouse like it was.
We urge the engineers quite a bit, but we've also had the second wettest stretch of weather since the floods of
They've
2
not
years
been,
ago.
if I was the insurance company, I'd probably, instead of talking to us, I'd be talking to
And those conversations have happened as well.
because they're the ones on the hook for it. But I've had the same thought. I'm thinking, you know, they told us this, are we ever gonna get to a point where they think they're pouring sand down a hole or whatever, but like I said, so far, Tracy, we haven't spent any money out of our budget on the courthouse, have we?
No, we don't.
Do you know how much we have spent
just
on it so
to-
far?
Just to add to that too,
Probably.
I can tell you, since I live right close to the courthouse now, that we are seeing the workers like on Friday nights working late, Saturdays working, and there have been some Sundays that they've been over there working. So,
Well, Saturdays is usually their overtime. The construction crew itself, their Sabbath is on Saturday, so that's their true Sabbath, and they work a lot of most Sundays.
But now the roof it's on now is a temporary roof.
Absolutely.
It's a temporary roof in order for them then to shrink wrap it and dry it out. So, you know, the roof that's up there now is not the roof, it's just there to,
Permanent roof on, they take it, they peel it back.
yeah.
I just wonder what they're gonna do with those iron
They were gonna put it high enough.
beams.
I'd like to see that big roller they got when they go that wrap around.
Anything else on the budget, we can talk courthouse all night. But I mean, anybody else want to talk about the budget for the public hearing? Commission,
Make a motion with adjourn.
do we need it? Do we have to have a motion for it again?
So I don't think we
That
took
makes
a
it
motion.
official.
Motion, to have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Yeah, give me just a second. Let me get this thing together.
So thanks for your hard work. Back to the drawing board. Back we go. Sharpen the pencils.
We have the ability to spend. that way, no power.